Welcome back, everyone, to our Star Wars Plus live reaction of Obi-Wan Kenobi, titled
The High Ground.
Under the sea, old Ben Kenobi grabbed him a floaty under the sea. Yeah, last time Obi-Wan went for a swim. All in the name of saving Leia, who once again was kidnapped. And pretty much, what were you saying the whole time? Pretty much replicating Fallen Order?
Yep.
Yeah, so this was a whole underwater video game level, but thankfully Obi-Wan completed the mission. He got Leia out, mostly without casualties, I should say. Unfortunately, it seems Reva had anticipated this whole thing and put a tracker on Lola. So now, in this current episode, which is titled
Part 5,
we get to see as the Empire tracks Obi-Wan probably back to that group's secret base, all in the attempts to kidnap him and have Vader pretty much enact the revenge he's probably been waiting for a long, long time now. Granted, he didn't know that Obi-Wan survived, but still, you know, the instant he knew he was alive, he wanted to make sure that that was no longer an issue. So let's get started and see what happens when the Empire gives chase. Play. Oh no, that's not good. I mean, they almost tortured a child in the last one, so how much more upsetting can it get? Unless they actually torture a child.
Do you really want to know the answer to that question? Because we are gonna find out.
Are we talking about Anakin slaying younglings, but this time actually seeing him do the deed?
Where he goes, it will follow.
Motherfucker. So we had Obi-Wan rigged over hot coals, and then we had him put underwater. I wonder what else they're gonna do to him. Maybe they'll bury him in sand this time.
Coruscant, back during the Republic.
Oh, there you are.
There he is.
I was beginning to think you weren't coming.
Yeah, you don't look 19 anymore.
See, they still can't get the de-aging technology correct. Honestly, he looks like he came out of Jedi Fallen Order. And back to present.
The tracker worked. He's arriving onto beam as we speak.
You have done well.
You will live for another episode.
Kneel.
Oh my.
Kneel before Zod.
Grand Inquisitor.
Well, that was easy.
That basically signed her death warrant.
Yep.
Set a course, Captain. We leave for Jabim at once.
Zulu, go to work. Why do I feel like all these people are gonna die?
We got her.
And what did it cost you?
Haja.
Ah!
How did
he
you
came
get
back.
here?
Yeah. I had nowhere else to go. I got into a fight with that scary lady Inquisitor. Now I'm wanted by the Empire. So now I know what it feels like being a real Jedi.
Sure you do.
It's not easy. This place is a good business opportunity, though.
Of course.
You know, we were just watching this Marvel and they're talking about Kingo. And,
Spreading his influence across the universe.
We only have a few hours.
Make that a few minutes. You're about to get massacred. I'm calling it right now.
her name was Lola. She was a spy droid.
Oh boy, Lola, what are you doing? She's gonna sabotage the show. See quotes from your daily calendar. Huh. All these lightsabers. So that's how he got his cloak. Our questions have been answered. Yep.
What's happening?
The controls aren't responding.
The Imperial Destroyer just arrived in orbit above us.
She must have tracked us.
It's
Yep.
not her. It's Vader.
We surrender. He'll get us all.
He'll attack next. He hasn't the patience for siege. How do you know?
Oh, he knows.
Grow too aggressive, Anakin. Be mindful. A Jedi's goal is to defend life, not take it. Mercy doesn't defeat an enemy, Master.
Honestly, how he didn't see it back then. Ugh.
I understand you're scared. The Empire will attack soon. They're stronger than us, better equipped, better trained. If we try and fight them, we will not survive.
Great pep talk.
But we do not need to fight them. How much time do you need to override the doors?
3-4 hours.
You have one. And block every other remote access. Everyone else, we're going to lock down every other entrance in this facility. If we defend our position together,
You will die.
by the time they get inside, we'll be gone.
You heard him.
Nice thinking, but...
Yeah, this is how Wanda managed to infiltrate Kamar-Taj. You focus too much on defense.
Not to mention, Vader knows what Obi-Wan's gonna do. He trained with him too, and he knows Obi-Wan's gonna prioritize all the lives of everyone there above everything else. He's gonna block off every possible exit, and he's gonna annihilate them all. Because that's how he... Is that a Gatling gun?
This feels like what Moff Gideon did.
Kinda does. In that case, he gave him enough time to form an escape plan. This time, I don't think they're gonna be as patient. You have lightsabers, why don't you just get up there and cut it open?
I don't need your opinion. Did you try going in the vents to see what's going on? I'm a little too big to be crawling around in the vents.
I'm going to need a ladder.
It's not playtime right now, Princess.
Do as she asks. You trust me? I trust her. Get her the ladder.
I'm
Get her a
useful.
ladder. Quick!
I don't keep ladders around.
She's gonna have to destroy
I
Lola.
am not a babysitter.
Yeah, that's about the size of it.
I have to go.
My planet needs me.
If he's found you, if he's learned of the children, if I don't hear from you soon, I'll head to Tatooine. Owen will need help with the boy.
So would he actually take Luke in? I mean, that would be ideal, let's face it.
He knows the severity. He knows what's going on. I don't think he'd hesitate for a second.
It'd be hell of a time explaining that. Like, oh yeah, I had a daughter, now I have a son. Let's just roll with it.
May not even advertise it if if it came down to it.
Just stick him in his tower until he's an adult or something.
There were 4 families, all Force sensitive, and we gathered them up. I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what the Inquisitors would do. 14 people died and 6 of them were children, and I couldn't do anything to help them. So now I do this. One for everyone I get through. Some things you can't forget, but you can fight to make them better.
At least we know she's not a traitor
We're
now.
in trouble.
We're going to have to slow them down. Tell the Inquisitor I want to talk.
Yeah, I'm sure she's gonna want
She
to
started this
talk.
when she kidnapped Leia. Back on Daiu, how did you know that? Vader would have kept that hidden.
Yeah.
You're too young to have known him. Unless you were there.
It doesn't matter where I was.
The night of Order 66, you were a youngling. That's how you knew you saw him. Anakin killed the others.
That's enough.
He killed the other younglings.
Enough.
But somehow you
Enough!
All theories were correct. Not that it was a big mystery. So we actually see him slaughter the children.
I tried to help them, but I couldn't. I was too weak. When he left, I played dead. Hid with the bodies. Felt them go cold.
This is a bad time to be reliving that sort of experience.
I knew.
And that's why you joined the Empire and killed Jedi?
You're hunting him. Let me help you.
Why would I ever trust you?
Because we want the same thing.
Do we? Do you really want Anakin dead? Where
You're
were you
better off at this point.
while he was killing my friends?
Utapau?
He was your Padawan. Why didn't you stop him? Why didn't you save us?
He wasn't exactly on planet.
No. He was not on planet. And Order 66 nearly happened to him.
You won't stop him alone.
You have no idea what I've done alone.
In fact, Kenobi incited Order 66, basically, when you think about it.
Yeah. Okay, so she became an Inquisitor to get close to Anakin, gain his trust, and then when he wasn't expecting to kill him. I get that, but in doing so, she's killing other Jedi. She's doing the same exact thing he did.
I think that changed her entire worldview of things. If she can't trust this Jedi who is supposed to be a mentor of them, she might think any other Jedi could just as easily turn, and it probably messed with her head.
Yes.
So she probably trusts no one.
That explains her hate boner for Obi-Wan.
Hey, we gotta hurry! Are you listening to me? I feel like you're not listening to me.
Would you stop talking?
He said it was a reg breaker.
Nice.
Do like a Wookiee.
Ooh. Come on, Mr. Droid Man, carry her out. Well, I guess they're both dying then. Not that that's a surprise or anything.
Yeah. That's honestly the best move.
Yeah. Well, bam! We're gonna go out and maybe we'll take a bunch of stormtroopers with you.
Yeah.
Well, she put up a good fight.
Yep.
She served her purpose.
Don't let that sacrifice be in vain.
Please don't.
I'm going back. You can't quit.
I'm giving myself
For too
up.
long. You can't just throw that away. It won't make a difference. They want all of us.
Vader
No.
wants me.
If you surrender, she's out for nothing. You going to fight him?
He expects me to surrender. He knows I'll do everything I can to protect these people.
Exactly.
You'll be on your own.
You want to be a Jedi?
Archer, look out for her, will you?
You want to tell me how you're going to fight without a weapon?
There are other ways to fight.
Caesar.
This should be interesting.
He's on his way.
You're gonna die soon.
You're not bringing him to me. I'm bringing him to you.
Oh, he's gonna rat her out.
This isn't over yet.
You just sealed your own death warrant.
There are families back there. Children. Are you going to let him do it again? What he did to you?
I mean, she's kind of been doing that so far, so...
What makes you think he won't see it coming?
Because all he'll see is me.
He doesn't even know you.
Mm-hmm. For you, it was the worst day of your life. For him, it was Tuesday. And he is right. He's gonna have tunnel vision at this point. All he wants is Obi-Wan dead. So maybe redemption. I doubt it, but there's like a hint there.
Yep.
Ooh.
There. Your weapon's gone. It's over. Your need
He has the
for
high ground.
victory, Anakin, it blinds you.
Hey, Anakin, good job. You're really improving. Jesus. Obi-Wan, a little encouragement. She's possessed. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. Oh, better. Woo. I was afraid she was gonna break her. Well, we have our escape route. Let's hope the ship actually flies, and they all don't die in the process.
Where's Tala?
Oh, I forgot he can do that. Oh my god. Gotcha, bitch. For you. That was clever.
You are a great warrior, Anakin,
Lightsaber.
but you'll need to prove yourself as your undoing. Until you overcome it, a Padawan you will still be.
Good job. This is not the good time. He is like raging right now. You are about to die. Yep. You thought that would work.
Wise to use you against me.
He doesn't even need a lightsaber. That's gonna do what exactly? He's gonna make you impale yourself. Oh no. Vader's
And
dual
now I
wielding.
have two.
He's actually giving her a chance. He's like, you amuse me. I will give you a free shot. Oh no. Is he gonna give her the Count Dooku treatment?
Palpatine's not there to say, do it.
She died the way she lived, cowering in fear of Anakin. Ah, he did live.
Hello, third sister.
So they didn't totally fuck up continuity.
Revenge does wonders for the will to live, don't you think?
I live just to spite you.
Rage.
I mean, she had it coming. I feel bad for her in a sense, but she still had it coming. Yeah, y'all are not out of the woods quite yet.
Our hyperdrive is down,
Great.
and they're behind us.
Of course they are. This is gonna turn to Last Jedi where they're like slowly creeping ahead of them.
I don't want to say it, but...
I hope not. We had enough of that. What is that thing?
Communicator, I think.
Oh no.
If he's learned of the children, well, Tatooine. Owen, help the boy.
You better haul ass back to Tatooine and quick. That'll lead toward our climax, huh? Oh shit. Now I'm trying to think how this is gonna go down exactly. Like, is this final fight gonna be with Reva or with Vader? They're following them. Eventually he's gonna have to go to Tatooine. So unless he does a good job losing Vader, Vader's gonna chase him there. We're gonna have to really explain continuity. So why does Luke have brown hair? They remembered he's blonde, right? Unless it got lighter when he got older?
Could happen. There's a science fiction here, so things could work differently.
Yeah, I guess the sun bleached his hair blonde. I mean, if you could age everybody like 50 years in a 10-year span, I mean, that makes sense. Whew, okay, that was tense.
I am surprised they decided to throw so much into the 5th episode. Obviously, we kind of know where it's going from here, but still, it's like, I would have thought they'd save the stuff for the finale.
They only have so many episodes to work with, so much time. I mean, they probably could have expanded to another episode, again, another series that should have had an extra episode besides Boba Fett. But even so, this is honestly the best time to do all that, because we know that the final battles are coming up. It's gonna be Reva and Obi-Wan, supposedly, and then Obi-Wan and Vader. Because that's like the two big things we have like left to do, really. Yeah, so this is a tense episode, like a base under siege type episode. I mean, we've seen plenty of those in Star Wars, definitely. I was honestly convinced a lot of them get massacred, given the warning we had beforehand. But I guess it was in regards to, you know, Anakin slaughtering the younglings, and Tala basically remembering what she had to endure while she worked for the Empire, which was, I hate to say, basically the same as people who were involved in the recent school shooting. Let's face it, all the school shootings. So I can see, you know, how that would be triggering for some people. Yeah. Despite the fact that Lola kind of sabotaged them, they managed to fix that fairly quickly. I mean, thanks to Leia.
Yep.
Thank God she knows how to work wires and stuff. I know she's smart, but like, I see the whole wall of wires and I'm like, huh?
The Wunderkind.
That was like sort of a twist thing, Reva's backstory. Like, we knew that she was one of the younglings that managed to escape being slaughtered by Anakin. But the twist was that she was getting close to him for the sake of killing him, not because she, you know, was serving him. It's understandable in that sense. It just, I don't understand the mentality, though. Like, I know you said the whole thing about her seeing Jedi as being bad people now because they allowed the events of 66 to go down, but at the same time, she's passing her trauma on to new burgeoning Jedi. She's slaughtering them the same way her friends got slaughtered. I don't understand that mentality.
That's the thing about trauma. Sometimes it seems like they just do the most irrational thing based on what happened to them. It seems like she should be doing the exact opposite of what she's doing, but emotions are very complicated.
I've read a thing where they said that people basically have two responses to a situation, particularly traumatic ones. They either replicate it on another person because if they should feel pain, someone else should too. And then there's the other side where they experience the pain, so now they go out of the way to make sure the other person doesn't feel it. Mm-hmm. So in this case, she went to like the extreme. On the one hand, it's admirable she wanted to get revenge for her fallen comrades and for all the poor younglings that got mercilessly slaughtered. But on the other hand, she's doing all that just to get close to Vader on the vague hope she can take him down. Because let's face it, we knew she was never going to take him down, no matter what state he was in. Because he's frickin' Vader. He didn't even face her with a lightsaber for half that fight. That is how OP he is.
Something that has always bothered me, in particular, now having the prequels in existence, now having Revenge of the Sith be a thing, is how hard of a turn Anakin makes to the dark side. Obviously, you could argue he's bitter that Obi-Wan's kind of been this hard ass that feels no love toward him, doesn't even tell him, good job, you're improving. But even then, he simply sees Padme with Obi-Wan. And that's enough to drive him to complete and utter hatred. Just forget who he was in the past at all. Forget that he used to have empathy for people, that he used... Well, I guess he had empathy, I don't know. But
at one point,
that he used to have human characteristics. Much as I have this very complicated history with the Clone Wars series, say that Ahsoka is indeed canon, because clearly we have made that canon.
Mm-hmm.
He completely abandons this connection that he has to somebody he actually feels something for. Let's even take it back to the night he is dubbed Lord Vader, Darth Vader, and how he's actually trying to convince Palpatine not to harm the other Jedi, that he still has compassion for them. Even as pissed off as he might be at Mace Windu for denying him the rank of master, and whatever.
I mean, to be fair, like, through their interactions in the Clone Wars, it's revealed that they've had an antagonistic relationship for like a long time, which I can see given Mace's temperament. Like, he may seem like cool and collected, but he is probably a sterner hard ass than Obi-Wan is, and he will like use immense passive aggression to get his point across. So I can see the build up to that. It just, you have to watch Clone Wars to get that context though. You watch the prequels on its own, it just feels like, oh, he was just denied a promotion. He throws a bitch fit about it. So yeah.
Okay, but even throwing that aside, and going back to the point that I'm making, Palpatine, he's shown completely for who he is. Anakin is upset that now he has to choose sides. And he accepts his fate with what looks like very pained reluctance. And he doesn't look like he's really into what he's about to do. And then he proceeds to go and slaughter the younglings.
I know, like the total 180 heel turn.
Yeah.
The John Cena heel turn.
Suddenly, he's in the Vader suit, and he just becomes the coldest, completely different character from who he was as Anakin Skywalker.
I mean, I think that's the point. Like, he doesn't even refer to himself as Anakin Skywalker. Palpatine doesn't even refer to him as Anakin Skywalker. I think that was the whole point of him stripping him down to the point where he was no longer the same person.
And he has this confidence that was hitherto unseen in any of the prequels. I'm sorry, just the jump to that. I feel like we need another series showing beginnings of Darth Vader, how he actually shed his humanity for becoming the machine.
I won't lie, yeah, his whole abrupt turn into Sith mode was a baffling point in that movie, and it's definitely what made that movie bad in a sense, because it's not a well-written scene at all, and it's like there's no build-up. Yes, you can argue that Palpatine had been manipulating him this whole time, because aside from Padme, he's the only person that actually gives Anakin praise, who is friendly toward him, who is willing to lend him an ear when he needs it. unlike all the other Jedi who are so cold and emotionless and don't even give him the time of day half the time. So I can understand his reluctance in that regard, but yeah, for him to just go full-on psychopath, yeah, it's definitely an abrupt turn, and it would have been nice to see him slowly transition into that. My only argument is that once Padme died, his last emotional connection, he just decided to sever all emotional connections whatsoever, which he should have technically done as a Jedi. Because at this way, it serves him better as a Sith, because then he has no qualms killing anybody. And I like to bring up that one arc that's special, where he met, was it the father, the brother, the sister? And they revealed his immense force powers and stuff. Keep in mind, the brother gave him a vision of what he was to become. He saw visions of himself as Vader all the way up to when he and Luke have their first confrontation. He's seen what he will become, and what does he do? He immediately turns to the dark side. And yeah, he's kind of reluctant about it, but he is about to murder them, which shows that no matter what direction Anakin would have gone in, he was just destined to become Vader.
2 points. 1, the brother wipes his memory of it.
I know that, but before he did that, he showed him everything, and he was clearly under the duress of having seen his future, and he goes toward it anyway. It wasn't until things were reset that, he went back to the way he was before.
And 2, and I'm always going to have that bias, Gen D Clone Wars did it better. At least they showed this vague thing of him becoming Vader. Only to us does that mean anything. To him, it's just a series of cave scrawlings spell out that he gets all this massive power and hurts everybody around him because of it. And I think that's a better interpretation in my opinion, because again, it's vague, but it sends that message. And he even asks, is this a thing that will indeed happen at the end of it?
No, I will consent, yes. It definitely was a better interpretation, a better foreshadowing. I'm just saying, I think the whole purpose of the father, brother, sister arc was to show that even if Anakin was told his fate, that he knew exactly what he was to become, all the atrocities that he was going to commit, he would do it anyway. Because he has that darkness in him. And he apparently just has no control over his life, however much he tries to get it. Once he knows that he's destined to become this mass genocidal murderer, he's upset, but that doesn't stop him. He would have killed Obi-Wan and Ahsoka if Father didn't step in. I'm just saying, that was the whole point of it. I know that some Jedi have the power of prophecy, clairvoyancy, whatever, can see to a point, but you'd think that somebody would have seen that, maybe try to warn somebody, or maybe steer Anakin in a different direction, but they don't because it doesn't matter. He's going that way anyway, and that's what we get here.
There's something about the prequels. He says, I will become the most powerful Jedi. I will make it so that nobody dies.
And then he makes
everybody die. Way to go.
He betrayed the Jedi to keep Palpatine alive, to learn how to conquer death, and he doesn't even teach him, and he's just like, well, fuck it. I'm evil now. Let's just go to town.
And he's already killing before Padme dies.
Mm-hmm.
So where's the excuse for that?
I guess he's just doing the bidding again in the hopes that Palpatine will reward him with the knowledge, even though that never happens. And plus, once Padme dies, the whole pursuit of it just becomes moot. So, yeah. Like I said, I don't think we're ever going to get a satisfying transition of Anakin to Vader, because we saw the transition. That's unfortunately set in stone. Unless they do a whole frickin' retcon of that, this is what we're getting. The most we can do is, like this season has been doing so far, is, again, show Vader at his most Vader, his most pants-shitting, terrifying, whole big baddie that we've come to know, that we've grown up with and we're afraid of in our childhood. That's honestly the best they can do at this point, because there's really no saving for Anakin. I mean, the Clone Wars did the best they could in that regard to at least make him likable, to at least explain how he got to the point where he turned. But that doesn't undo what episode 3 did. It's never gonna be undone, I hate to say it. The most we can do is provide fan service, give the fans what they want, show Vader being this dark badass that we expect him to be, and show him facing Obi-Wan before their final confrontation.
And going back to Ahsoka, and I guess this kind of hurts Rebels a bit, he learns that Ahsoka lived, and that does nothing for him.
Well, it's said by that point he's cut off all emotion and attachment, so even if he does learn she lives, what does that matter? It's not like she's gonna warm up to him knowing what he's done.
I don't know, because clearly if he can have some affection learning that his son is alive, if he can find something within him to protect his son while the Emperor is killing him, there has to be some heartbeat of humanity within him.
Well, it's different with Luke because Luke is a piece of Padme. He's like the last living embodiment he has of her. So I can understand why he'd be merciful toward Luke in that sense. There was a comic that I read that takes place between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. They show Vader doing a really cool move like he did in this with halting the ship in midair. In this case, he stops a friggin' Imperial Walker from stomping him using just the Force. Like, that was really badass. But another scene that I showed too is him finding out the truth about Luke. And it wasn't through Palpatine. He found out the truth a different way. And when he did, he was so angry, he almost made the glass he was standing in completely shatter from his visceral anger. And he was going to go confront Palpatine himself to demand why he lied to him all these years and didn't tell him that his children were alive. But then, as he's confronting him, that's when he thinks, wait, I can do one better. I'm going to confront my son, tell him the truth, turn him to my side, and we both take down Palpatine. And that way, I can have a piece of Padme, and I can still retain my power. Because that's still the same consistent thing about Anakin. He lusts for power. Because if he didn't lust for power, he would have left the Jedi Order and been happy with Padme. Because let's face it, that whole thing couldn't have been a thing if he truly loved her above everything else. The whole downfall was his lust to conquer, his lust to be the most powerful thing in the world. So that's how I see it.
No matter what, it's still Qui-Gon's fault.
Oh, of course it's Qui-Gon's fault.
Yeah.
And he better fucking show up in this last episode. They keep alluding to him. And it's like, You gotta teach Obi-Wan the whole Force thing eventually, since that does become canon in the original trilogy, so come on, Qui-Gon, get off your ass already. Stop drinking down the gin that you're named for.
Yeah, but then again, we still have this argument that Luke manages to see Obi-Wan while he's just about passed out in the snow on Hoth, so explain that.
I'm sure they'll find a way to wrap this up properly in the last episode. I hope they do. Actually, no, I take that back because I heard very strong rumors that there's going to be a season 2. Which, how the fuck is that possible?
This only happened 10 years. There's still a lot of time between this and Rebels.
I know they have time. They have time to dish this out properly, but it's like, you can only do so much before you just throw continuity out the fucking window. And again, I know Star Wars likes to fuck its own continuity, but I just feel like, I mean, how many confrontations are we going to get between those two before it makes even less sense when they meet again in A New Hope? Just saying. But I guess we'll see next time in Part 6, when Obi-Wan probably has to face down Reva in order to save Luke, as well as deal a possible final confrontation with Vader. So until then, I'm Kat MacBerrie.
I'm Doug MacBerrie.
Remember, kids, if someone tells you that they can conquer death, they're lying. They are so lying.